Nice kicks.
They're fake.
Got a couple myself. I don't have a lot either. Got a couple myself.
So, Coach, there's a lot of unknowns in terms of your room and returning production. So, what's first order of business fall camp?
I think we're all kind of focused on the process right now. That was my message yesterday. What's more important, the flower or the soil that grows it, is kind of our mindset right now. So that's kind of just where we are, just day by day process.
Larry and Tobias came in during the spring. Are you expecting any of them to sort of emerge as wide receiver one in the fall camp?
I think probably 8-9 guys competing for playing time right now, and all those guys have a chance to be the guy, and that's what fall camp's for, right? That's what practice is for. So we're excited to see what happens.
What do you see in those two specifically that you brought in the spring that gives you confidence that they can emerge as guys?
Yeah, I think one, just athletically, they both look the part. You got a kid in Tobias who's 6'4", 6'5", 200 pounds. Runs a 4.4. So prototypical, type of guy you like. Larry's at 6'1", 195 guy. So they both look the part. Now it's just how quickly can they grasp the offense, and how quickly can they gel, with the quarterback and make plays that way. But their work ethic, is off the charts. I was here Sunday night, dropped some stuff off. It was 8:30. They were on the field. That's some stuff that you love to see as a coach. So excited to see what happens.
How valuable is that? Are those off-season workouts that Devin talked about at Media Day, that he's brought a lot of those guys together? How much of a connection do you need to be able to go into fall camp with that?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Especially during the summer when coaches aren't around all the time. Is Devin and the rest of the guys being the leaders that hold everyone accountable. Accountable to their potential, and those are a big stepping stone for fall camp.
Ryan Davis coming from New Mexico, playing with Devin, how much of an advantage does that give him, already knowing the offense coming in?
Yeah, it's a huge advantage for him. He was a great leader for spring, had a great summer. This is his last year, so he's doing everything to the best of his ability, being a leader, trying to be more vocal. So yeah, excited for him.
Some of the returners like Dadrian Zipperer and Luca Caldarella, what kind of growth did you see from them in the spring on to now?
Yeah, a lot of growth. Our offense is much different than kind of what's been in the past here. So a lot of different things we do as a receiver that they may have not been asked to do previously. So just honing in on their skill set, their receiver skills, and it's they've definitely shown progress. And it's like the first question, right? It's a lot of unknowns. So we're just looking forward to all these guys getting reps and seeing what happens.
Nate Johnson's listed as a wide receiver, but Kyle said that he's going to be the Swiss Army knife. How do you help a guy like that who's going to be utilized in so many different ways, and what have you seen from him that gives you confidence there?
Yeah, I think having Coach Coy Detmer is a huge help for us. Been in this deal with him for it's our third year together now. So being able to work with him, and able to get Nate prepared to be, in multiple positions, and not make it too difficult on him. So it's good to have that, have him able to help us, and then just with Nate, obviously people know his speed and everything, and he played quarterback, so he has some smarts to him as well, some savviness. So all those things help when you're trying to kind of hone in on that type of Swiss Army knife position.
Going back to your flower or soil scenario, what is the soil? How do you define your soil?
Soil, yeah, it's the daily process. It's the daily process. It's the flower for us is the Big 12 championship, right? That's our goal. But if you're just thinking about that, constantly, then you're not gonna take the necessary steps to reach that goal. So the soil is practice 1 today, practice 2 tomorrow, and then whenever 3 and 4 and 5 and the rest of them happen. And it's just keep stacking the bricks, letting the dominoes fall how they do, and just keep hitting the check marks. And then next thing you know, we'll be August 30th ready to go.